They say betrayal never comes from your enemies. It comes from the ones you trust most. My name is Dominic Ward, and I was the Don who trusted the wrong man. Before you dive in, make sure to subscribe to Mafia Hidden Diary, because what you're about to hear isn't just a story, it's a confession. The night was painted gold. Laughter, clinking glasses, and the faint hum of a jazz band filled the courtyard of my villa. I stood at the center, surrounded by men who'd once painted streets red in my name, now dressed in tuxedos, pretending we were saints. I raised my glass. "To new beginnings," I said, smiling at the sea of familiar faces. "No more blood, no more war. Just peace, profit, and loyalty." Cheers erupted. "To loyalty!" they echoed back. Elias stood beside me, his arm brushing mine, his grin wide and practiced. He'd been my right hand for 15 years, closer than a brother, sharper than an enemy. Lucia, my wife, brushed past the guests like silk in motion. Her eyes caught mine, soft, loving, proud. "You did it," she whispered when she reached me. "You made it out," I smiled. We made it out. But even as the crowd clapped, as champagne bubbled and the band swayed into another song, something deep in me felt off. Maybe it was the way Elias kept scanning the room, or how he laughed too easily, his smile not quite reaching his eyes. He raised his glass next. "To Dominic Romano," he began, voice smooth as whiskey. "The man who taught us loyalty isn't about fear, it's about faith. We followed you through hell, and tonight we rise with you into heaven." The men cheered again, louder this time. Even I laughed, because Elias had always known how to control a room. But when our eyes met, his glinted cold, unreadable. After the applause faded, he stepped closer and handed me a small box. "Couldn't let the night end without giving you something." Inside was a silver watch. Handcrafted, elegant. The back engraved, "For everything we've built." I turned it over in my palm. "It's beautiful," he smirked. "You've got a thing for time, don't you?" "Time's the only thing you can't buy," I said, half smiling. "Depends who you ask." He clapped my shoulder, and something in his touch felt final. The band switched tunes. Lucia appeared beside us again, her hand sliding around my arm. "Elias, you're making my husband sentimental?" she teased. He chuckled. "Wouldn't dream of it." I watched him walk away, his back straight, his hands in his pockets. A chill ran through me, though the night air was warm. Lucia leaned in. "You okay?" "Yeah," I lied. "Just thinking." "About what?" "About how quick things change." She kissed my cheek and turned toward the guests. "Come on, Dominic. Tonight's supposed to be happy." I smiled, because that's what everyone expected from a man who'd won. But inside, something buzzed, an unease I couldn't shake. Hours later, the laughter had died down. Empty glasses littered the marble tables. The band had packed up, and only silence filled the courtyard. Lucia was upstairs. I stood by the bar, loosening my tie, when I heard faint whispers echoing through the hall. I followed the sound. Lucia was in her study, her back to me, phone pressed to her ear. "Yes, I'll handle it," she said, voice low, almost trembling. I froze. "Not tonight. He can't know yet." She turned slightly, and I stepped back before she saw me. My heart thudded. I waited until her door shut before I exhaled. I told myself it was nothing, business maybe. But deep down, it didn't feel that way. Later, I made my way to my office. The room smelled faintly of oak and cigar smoke. The city lights glowed in the distance. I poured myself a drink, trying to shake the weight pressing on my chest. Maybe it was the cost of peace. Maybe I'd been at war too long to trust calmness. I checked the time on my new watch, 2:13 a.m. Then the screen on my desk lit up, a motion alert from the security system. The monitor blinked. A figure moved across the hallway near my private study. At first I thought it was Lucia. But when the camera caught the face, my blood ran cold. Elias. He was inside my office. I watched him through the grainy feed as he opened the drawer of my desk. The drawer where I kept my ledgers. My safe codes, the one no one touched. He didn't hesitate. He knew exactly where to look. After a moment, he shut it, slipped something into his jacket, and walked out. Calm, smooth, as if he'd done it 1,000 times before. I didn't move. I didn't shout. I just stood there, my heart slowing into something heavy. Certain. The night that was supposed to mark peace had just written its first lie. I looked at the watch again. For everything we've built. A bitter laugh escaped me. Yeah, I muttered. Everything we've built. I set the glass down, my reflection trembling in the whiskey's surface. I told myself it was nothing, but deep down, I already knew. Trust is a fragile thing. You don't notice the cracks until it's too late, until the light starts slipping through. By morning, that light was blinding. I stood in my office, staring at the map of my routes across the wall. I'd leaked 3 different pieces of fake intel to 3 different people last night, a trick I'd used back when trust was a luxury I couldn't afford. By noon, one of them had already reached Interpol. Someone in my house is talking, I said into the comms. Noah's voice came through, steady and clipped. You really think it's internal? I turned toward the glass window overlooking the garden, watching Lucia laugh with one of the guests. Her smile looked perfect. It always did. It has to be, I muttered. The leak was too specific. Noah hesitated. Then you're in trouble, boss. Because whoever it is, they're faster than you think. I killed the line. That evening I sat in the lounge with Lucia. The fire burned low, casting gold over her skin. She placed her hand on mine. You've been quiet all day, thinking. About what? She asked, eyes soft but unreadable. About loyalty. Her lips curved faintly. You're overthinking again. You always do when things are good. Good. I chuckled bitterly. Someone sold me out. She squeezed my hand. You've built an empire on paranoia, Dominic. Maybe it's time to let go. Her tone was calm, but there was something in her eyes. Distance, maybe guilt, maybe fear. I couldn't tell anymore. You think I'm imagining it? I asked. She sighed. I think you're looking for ghosts. The war's over, love. I leaned back, studying her face. Then why do I feel like it's just starting again? Later that night, Noah showed up at my doorstep. He was the youngest in my circle, 25, brilliant, and too sharp for his own good. He dropped a phone on the table. That's yours, I frowned. Yeah? It's been tapped. My stomach tightened. Tapped by who? He hesitated. Hard to say, but whoever did it had access to your private encryption keys. That means it's someone close, I finished for him. He nodded slowly. Closer than you think. I glanced at the phone, then back at him. Delete everything, burn it. Then check every server. If anyone's touching my data, I want to know. Noah's jaw clenched. Dominic, you're already on Interpol's radar. I froze. What did you say? They flagged your name this morning. Someone uploaded a report. Your bank movements, shipment routes, everything. It's official. You're on their watch list. I stared at him. The fire from the lounge still flickered behind me, but suddenly the room felt cold. Who the hell sent it? He slid a tablet toward me. That's what you're not gonna like. The next day, I met Elias at the docks. The sea was calm, almost mocking. A dozen containers lined the pier, but one spot stood empty. My shipment? I asked. Elias lit a cigarette, smirking. Gone. Vanished. Or maybe you misplaced it. Happens when a man's too busy chasing ghosts. Watch your tone, I warned. He blew smoke toward the sky. You've been paranoid ever since you tried to play God, Dominic. Leaking fake intel, testing your own people. That's not leadership. That's fear. You're deflecting, I snapped. Someone in this family sold us out. Or maybe, he said, stepping closer, you're just afraid it's someone you love. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Just the hum of the wind and the sea, and the sound of something breaking inside me. By midnight, I was back in my study, surrounded by files. My phone buzzed. Noah again. Found it, he said. The upload was routed through your internal system. No external breach. So internal, I muttered. Yes. And there's something else. His voice wavered. The document sent to Interpol, the one with your financials? It needed biometric access, I frowned. Meaning? It means whoever sent it used your home terminal. The fingerprint log only matches 2 profiles, yours and Lucia's. The words hit harder than a bullet. Noah, I said quietly. You're sure? 100%. I ended the call. Silence wrapped around me, heavy, suffocating. Across the room, Lucia's portrait hung on the wall, her eyes soft, eternal. I wanted to believe it was a mistake, that someone framed her, hacked her print, forged the evidence. I wanted to believe the woman who stood by me through hell wasn't the one who handed me over to it. I looked down at the file in my hand, her fingerprint glowing faintly in the system log. The truth doesn't wait. It doesn't knock. It just walks in, uninvited, and wrecks everything you've built. I ran a hand over my face, breathing slowly. I wanted to believe she was framed. I whispered. But the truth doesn't ask for permission, it just hurts. I always thought betrayal had a sound, like glass shattering or a heart breaking. Turns out it's quieter than that. It's the sound of whispered laughter behind a closed door. I followed Lucia that night. She'd left the villa without a word, saying she needed air. No one leaves my house without me knowing why. I parked down the hill near the cliffs, where the wind tasted like salt and old lies. Her car was already there, headlights off. I moved through the shadows, quiet, listening. Their voices came first, Lucia and Elias. "You shouldn't have come here," she whispered. "You say that every time," he replied, his tone sharp but intimate. "And yet here you are." My chest tightened. Lucia sighed. "He's starting to suspect." "You need to slow down," Elias chuckled bitterly. "I'm not slowing down. I've waited years for this. I'm taking everything he built, everything he stole." My hand clenched. Lucia's voice softened. "You said this wasn't about revenge." "It's not," Elias said. "It's about balance, balance." That word hit me like a curse. I stepped forward, gravel crunching under my shoes. Both of them froze. Elias turned first, his face lit faintly by moonlight. Calm, almost smug. Lucia's eyes widened, her lips trembling. "Dominic," she whispered. I smiled. "Go on. Don't stop on my account." Elias didn't flinch. "You followed her." "I follow everyone," I said. "It's the only way to stay alive." Lucia moved closer. "Please, don't," I snapped. "You think I wouldn't find out?" The calls, the meetings, the missing shipments. My empire burns while you play lovers in the dark. Elias tilted his head. "Empire? You mean the one you built on other people's blood?" I stepped toward him. "You want to talk about blood?" "You're standing in mine." He smiled, cold, unshaken. "You killed my father, Dominic. Or did you forget?" The world tilted. "What?" He took a slow breath. "You signed the order that led to his death. 20 years ago. My father refused to smuggle weapons for you. So you had your men burn his warehouse. He was inside." I stared at him, disbelief clawing at my chest. "That wasn't supposed to—" "Oh, it wasn't supposed to happen?" Elias sneered. "You think saying that makes it better? You destroyed a family. So I destroyed yours." Lucia broke down, tears streaking her face. "Elias, stop, please." He turned on her. "You said you loved him once. What changed?" She shook her head. "I did this to protect him. You said if I helped you, you'd spare his life." Elias laughed hollowly. "And you believed me?" I stepped between them. "Enough." Lucia looked at me, desperate. "Dominic, I swear, at first it was about keeping you safe. Elias had leverage, your old records, evidence that could bury you. I thought if I cooperated, I could destroy them from the inside." "From the inside?" I repeated, my voice cracking. "You were sleeping next to me every night." Tears rolled down her cheeks. And hating myself for it, I stared at her. The woman I'd trusted with everything. The woman I'd killed for. "You fell in love with him," I said quietly. Her silence was the answer. Elias stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Now you understand what it feels like, to lose everything to someone you thought you could trust." I met his gaze, fury burning through the shock. "If you wanted justice, you should have come for me, not her." "Not my people." "Oh, I did," he said, smiling faintly. "You just didn't notice." A sharp noise echoed behind us. Engines, doors slamming. I turned to see black vans rolling toward the cliffs. Elias's men. Armed, Lucia screamed. "Elias, you said—" He grabbed her arm. "You think I came here unprotected?" I reached for my gun, but a bullet tore through the ground near my feet. They surrounded me within seconds, rifles raised, eyes dead. Elias smirked. The Don finally dethroned. "Careful," I said. "You're standing in the middle of a lion's den," he laughed. "Except the lion doesn't know he's bleeding." The first shot came from the ridge, but it wasn't his men firing. It was mine. Vincent Hale stepped out from the shadows, gun blazing. His voice cut through the chaos. "Move, Dom." Elias's men scattered as Vincent's bullets tore through the night. I grabbed Lucia's arm, dragging her behind the rocks. She cried out, "Dominic, stop!" "You'll get killed." I glared at her. "You should have thought about that before you joined him." Vincent ducked beside me, reloading. You picked the worst places for marriage counseling. Shut up and cover me, I hissed. We fired back, short, controlled bursts. The air filled with gunfire, the sea echoing every shot. Elias yelled from across the chaos. You can't run forever, Dominic. You'll die like your empire, cornered and forgotten. I shouted back. Then you better make it quick. Vincent grabbed my shoulder. We're outnumbered. We need to go now. I hesitated, Lucia's silhouette still visible through the smoke, Elias pulling her toward the vans. Her face turned toward me, I'm pleading, broken. Dominic. She screamed. For a second I almost went back, but Vincent pulled me hard. Don't, it's over. We jumped into his car and tore down the coastal road, engines howling. The sound of gunfire faded behind us, replaced by the wind. I stared out the window, my reflection fractured in the glass. Everything I built. Everyone I trusted, gone. Vincent spoke quietly. You okay? I didn't answer. I just stared at my hands, still shaking. I'd lost my wife, my brother, my empire. I said slowly, but not myself. Not yet. The vineyard smelled of dust and memory. Dead vines, cracked barrels, and silence that clung like ash. Vincent parked the car behind a rusted tractor and killed the lights. You sure about this place? He muttered. I nodded. No one's been here since the fire. It's safe enough. Safe, he said, loading his pistol. Isn't a word that fits our lives anymore. I dropped into a chair, the wood creaking under me. My hands still trembled, and from rage or exhaustion I couldn't tell. Vincent leaned against a wall. You want to talk about what happened? No, he smirked. Then I'll talk. You're bleeding from the inside, Dom. Elias took your wife, your trust, and half your empire. That kind of wound festers. I stared at the cracked floor. He didn't take anything I didn't already lose. Before Vincent could reply, the door creaked open. A woman stepped in, tall, confident, her coat flapping in the cold wind. Vincent raised his gun instantly. Move another inch and you're dead. She lifted her hand slowly. If I wanted you dead, Vincent Hale, you'd already be bleeding. Her voice froze me. I knew that tone, that calm, that venom. Ivy Crane, I said quietly. Elias's sister. Vincent's grip tightened. Hell no. She's walking out or I'm shooting. Put it down, I ordered. Dom, now. He lowered it reluctantly. Ivy stepped closer, her boots crunching on the dirt. You look worse than I imagined, she said. Guess betrayal doesn't suit you, I exhaled. You came to gloat? No, she said. I came to tell you the truth before you get yourself killed, I scoffed. Your family's got a strange way of helping. Her eyes narrowed. Elias isn't acting alone. He's being financed, Vincent frowned. By who? She hesitated. A man named Casimir Volkov, Russian investor, bought half the docks last year under shell companies. He's not interested in money. He wants control of your roots, your people, your city. I leaned forward. And Elias sold me out for that? He thinks he's in charge, she said. But Volkov's just waiting for him to destroy you so he can take what's left. Vincent whistled. So the prince thinks he's the king while the devil's cashing in, Ivy nodded. Exactly. Silence filled the room. Only the wind outside dared to move. I rubbed my face. Lucia knew. Ivy hesitated again. She found out too late. She tried to warn you the night of the party. My chest ached. She called someone. I thought it was him. It was me, Ivy said softly. She wanted to meet, but Elias tracked her. Vincent looked between us. So what now? You planning on handing your brother over? She met my eyes. I'm giving you a chance to end this. Volkov's paying Elias to meet him at the old airstrip tomorrow night. If you're smart, you'll be there first. I leaned back, thinking. The rage inside me sharpened into something colder. Purpose. Vincent crossed his arms. You're actually considering this? I'm done reacting, I said. It's time he dances to my music. Ivy tilted her head. So what's your plan? Elias's arrogance, I said. He thinks I'll come guns blazing. I won't. I'll make him think he's already won. Let him step into the trap himself. Vincent nodded slowly. Classic Dominic. Burn the house down with style. I looked at him. You still in? Always, he said. Ivy turned to leave but paused at the door. Be careful, Dominic. Elias isn't the only one with fire in his veins. When she was gone, Vincent sighed. You believe her? I believe pain, I said, and hers looked real. He lit a cigarette, smoke curling through the air. Then we go hunting at dawn. The airstrip was a graveyard of metal and moonlight. We hid near the hangar, engines humming in the distance. Elias arrived with 4 men. His voice carried, confident, sharp. "Dominic's finished," he said to Volkov. "By tomorrow his men will beg me for mercy." Volkov's reply was thick with accent. "Do not fail, or I'll replace you too." My finger tightened on the trigger. Vincent whispered, "On your signal." But before I could move, a figure stepped from the shadows near Elias. "Lucia." My heart stopped. "Lucia," Elias said, shocked. "What are you doing here?" She shook her head. "Ending this." Then she turned, looked straight toward me. Our eyes met through the dark. "Dominic, run." Gunfire erupted. Elias's men spun, firing in every direction. Vincent shouted, "Move!" I dove behind the crates, bullets slicing past. Lucia screamed, then silence. When the smoke cleared, she lay on the ground, blood pooling beneath her. I crawled to her, ignoring the pain, the noise, everything but her. Her hand trembled in mine. "Don't become like him," she whispered. "Please." And then, nothing. Vincent dragged me away as the hangar exploded behind us. The fire swallowed the night sky, turning everything orange and cruel. I didn't cry. That night, I didn't feel grief, just heat. The fire inside me burned everything else away. The villa stood like a ghost above the cliffs, silent, untouchable, watching the ocean tear itself apart below. I parked the car and stepped out, the cold wind slapping my face like a warning. It was poetic, almost cruel. The same place where Elias and I made our first oath of loyalty. Now, only one of us would walk away. Vincent's voice crackled through the earpiece. "You sure about this, Dom? We could end it clean from a mile out." "No," I said. "This one's mine." I turned off the comm and climbed the stone steps. Each one felt heavier than the last. Inside, the villa was dim. Only candlelight flickered across the marble floor. Elias sat at the piano, his fingers pressing a single note, again and again. The sound echoed like a heartbeat fading out. "I was wondering when you'd come," he said without turning. "I almost didn't," I replied. "But ghosts don't stay buried, do they?" He chuckled softly. "You still talk like you're the hero in this story. Maybe I stopped pretending to be one." He turned finally, older, harder, but still the man I once called brother. His pistol rested beside him, untouched. "Do you know what haunts me most?" he asked. "That you think I betrayed you for greed. No, Dominic. I betrayed you for truth." I stepped closer. "Truth? You sold your soul to a foreign snake and burned everything we built." He rose slowly, meeting my eyes. "Everything you built, you mean? You were the Don, judge, God, executioner. You killed my father with your choices, not your bullets." I clenched my jaw. "And you think this makes you better?" "No," he said quietly. "It makes me free." I laughed. Bitter. Hollow. "Free? You've been chasing revenge like a dog chasing its own tail. You don't even know what freedom looks like." He pointed at me, eyes blazing. "And what about you? Still trying to buy forgiveness with blood?" "Maybe," I said, "but at least I bleed for what I built." Silence stretched between us, the sound of waves below, the faint hum of dying light. Elias sighed. "I loved Lucia, you know." "I know," I said. "And she died saving me, not you." His face twisted with something between guilt and pain. "She shouldn't have been part of this." "She made her choice," I whispered. "Just like we did." He looked down, shaking his head. "We were brothers once." "We still are," I said, drawing my gun. "That's why I'm giving you a choice." He smirked. "And what's that?" I stepped closer until the barrel almost touched his chest. "No one betrays me and walks away clean. Not even me." For a moment, neither of us moved. The candlelight danced between us, flickering against our faces, 2 men carved by loyalty and lies. Then he lunged. The struggle was fast, brutal. Wood splintered, glass shattered, and the piano roared with broken notes as we crashed into it. My gun went off. Once. Twice. Elias fell back, clutching his side, blood darkening his shirt. I kicked his weapon away and crouched beside him. You should have stayed away. He coughed, laughing through the pain. You can't kill me, Dom. Not really. I'm the part of you that still believes you're righteous. Maybe, I said softly, setting my gun on the floor beside him. But I'm done playing God. His eyes flickered with confusion as I stood. You wanted justice? I said, turning toward the door. Here's your chance. I left the pistol within his reach. Behind me, I heard the faint click of the hammer. A single shot echoed through the villa, swallowed by the wind and waves outside. For a moment, I couldn't move. My reflection stared back from a broken mirror, blood on my collar, emptiness in my eyes. Vincent's voice came faintly through the earpiece again. It's done? Yeah, I said quietly. It's done. I walked out into the dawn, leaving behind the house, the ghosts, and the name that once meant everything. By the end of the week, Ivy had taken control, rebuilding what was left with quiet precision. No more blood, no more crowns, just business. Me? I disappeared. No headlines, no revenge, no empire, just silence. They called me the Don. But in the end, I was just a man who trusted the wrong heart.